Crown Jewel, Merlot Field, the finest pitch in college soccer. For tonight's match, featuring the UC Davis Aggies and your Portland Violets. Brought to you by Army, ROTC.
Well, I guess it's September, huh? A wet, cloudy September 1st in Portland. The Pilots looking for a rebound effort after losing a week ago tonight to Washington State. Today they have their hands full hosting UC Davis out of the Big West on ESPN+. We're thrilled to have you with us from Merlot Field in the Rose City. Chris Clayton here with Pilots legendary goalkeeper Angela Harrison. It's a big one here. Two of the top 10 teams in the West Region, top 10. And UC Davis is off to a terrific start this year, Angela. They have won 3 of their first 4 matches, scoring 11 goals in this span. A big part of that's been the play of Leslie Fregoso.
Yeah, a key pivotal player for the Aggies in Leslie Fregoso, their senior midfielder from Live Oaks, California, already with a goal and 3 assists to add into her career tally of 18 goals and 14 assists in her career. She's what helps make this team go and will be something that Portland really has to keep tight watch of in the midfield.
Yeah, she's top 10 in school history in goals, assists, and shots in an Aggies uniform, the senior. Well, Portland head coach Michelle French, talking to her this week, she said, we got to find a way to score more goals consistently, and Kaylee Togiai can certainly be a force behind that.
She is such an unpredictable player, so much creativity and positivity out there, has not found the back of the net this season, but when we're talking about midfield battles between her and Fregoso, it's going to be a good one tonight, simply because Kaylee Togiai can and will shoot from anywhere that she thinks she can score from.
Togs and the Pilots looking for win number 2 early on in 2023. The Big West and the WCC. When we come back, we'll get you with the starters for both teams, and then we kick it off. UC Davis in Portland on ESPN+.
We are the WCC. We are fueled by the conviction to achieve our goals without boundaries. We recognize and we adapt. We welcome adversity. We are Presidential Medal of Freedom winners, NBA champions, Olympic gold medalists, record breakers, and difference makers. We create change, and we create champions. We are the West Coast Conference.
This is Maria Banks with CCCU. She has a first-time homebuyer savings account and a dog named Dave. She plays pickup soccer. She's about to get a mortgage and loves listening to music. She's just the kind of member that can take advantage of everything CCCU has to offer.
And I just like what credit unions stand for.
From customer to customized. Bank locally, live simply. With CCCU.
We are steeped in traditions,
Driven by mission.
Transformed by learning and serving.
We are
innovators,
Researchers, explorers,
change makers,
and playmakers.
Because that's what being a pilot is all about.
Back in Portland, the Pilots taking on UC Davis here on ESPN+. Two teams with high expectations here this year. coming off great 2022s, and UC Davis off to a great start, winning 3 of their first 4 matches. For the Aggies, let's take a look at their starting 11. We mentioned, of course, Leslie Fregoso, a big player to watch, but also the keeper, Kaylee Goldstein, is experienced and talented. She's only allowed 2 goals so far this season.
Yeah, it's always great when you've got a good backstop behind your team to really own and control that area, set your defense up well to, keep the ball going forward and make sure that, you have a good, calm presence back there, keeping the ball for you. And I know that Coach Tracy Ham loves that, being able to play around a little bit with those players.
Watch for Risa Yamada as well, a midfielder for this Aggies team, a former All-Big West performer. We'll talk about it as it goes along. They've got a lot of talent, some depth on this Aggies team for head coach Tracy Ham. And for Portland, for the second time this year, back at home, here's the starters here today. A little bit of a change. Aubrey Turner getting into the starting 11 here today.
Yeah, and it's really good, these early season games against very good opponents. Washington State last week, Cal State Northridge the week before, for head coach Michelle French, just to try to, tinker around with some things, tinker around with some player combinations, just some different formations. How, she had them set out in some of the preseason games I watched, different than how they've been playing so far. So, a lot of different possibilities, and the great thing is that they have the depth to do it, to try some different players and try some different combinations and see what is going to carry them through the WCC.
Yeah, Portland certainly with more than enough talent. It's a matter of finding the right combinations and minutes here still early on in 2023. First, or rather just the third ever matchup between these two programs. They played in 2017 at UC Davis. They matched UP won 1-0. As the Aggies have a chance to build on what was one of their best seasons in school history a year ago. Bree Norris, of course, one of the best keepers in the region, arguably the entire country, allowing a goal against Washington State, but certainly not her fault on that play. A play that she could have saved had it not been deflected in. And we're underway. Portland again in their black kits, moving right to left in front of us against UC Davis in their white tops and those navy blue shorts. Our game officials, Saya McGee is our referee. Stephanie Tercero, Brian Juarez, and Arlie Tercero are the officials here for this Big West versus WCC matchup on ESPN+. Chris Clayton and Angela Harrison here with you. Trying to play it forward for Sawan. UC Davis back in possession now. Coming to the near side. This is Sam Tristan, the Fresno State transfer, a very dangerous player. She's sent to the deck, fouled there by Aubrey Turner. I'm talking with Pilots head coach Michelle French this week. She said about UC Davis, they can really attack aggressively. Just one movement or one pass in the attacking third, and suddenly they have a really quality scoring opportunity. So she is very complimentary and impressed with this UC Davis attack, who scored 11 goals early on this year.
And it's a great start for this program and this team, and to that point, having that kind of momentum going forward, scoring a ton early going, not conceding a lot, really does a lot for your confidence as a team. You start to take a few more chances than you normally wouldn't maybe take early on in the season, and you start to find some better connections, some better pathways, and it's just some better creative ideas going forward.
Last time out was on Sunday, UC Davis with a win against another West Coast Conference school at San Francisco, a 3-1 victory in that one, as the Aggies scored 3 goals on just 4 shots on goal, taking full advantage of their opportunities. It's San Francisco. And a throw in deep in the corner here for UC Davis. Trying to toss in the box, headed away. Togiai didn't quite get enough on it. It goes to Emma Vane. Now lob right back into the box. Headed down. Some room for Tristan. She'll take a shot along the grass and picked up well by Bree Norris.
We'll say this is going to be, this is going to be a great match tonight for anybody watching. Please to stay tuned. These are two programs that are kind of on the rise within their conferences. Portland, perennial powerhouse of the 90s and early 2000s, and UC Davis coming along under the leadership of Tracy Ham. Tracy Ham and Michelle French are some of the best, brightest coaches in the game, and as women leading women, it's such a great thing to see. They are both so tactically proficient in how they want to set up and organize their team that it's going to be, I think, a really entertaining matchup, just simply because you have two phenomenal coaches in Ham and French leading these players.
Ruelas with a throw in. One's headed back. Portland looking to get it out of the defensive third here. Still in possession with Emma Vane. Now the right-footed sliding effort from Risa Yamada, and is picked up well there by Bree Norris again. Risa Yamada, good to see her out on the pitch and healthy. She played just 2 matches last year, went down with an injury. Former all-conference selection, scoring 6 goals a couple years ago. Well, you mentioned Tracy Ham, the head coach for UC Davis. What a job she's done in her 5th year and 4th season. She signed an extension this offseason through 2028. So that's the value and how UC Davis sees her as a head coach. First time in more than 20 years, UC Davis with back-to-back winning seasons under her watch the last 2 years.
Extremely impressive job and well-deserved contract extension for Coach Ham. I mean, she has really put in the work throughout her career, not only as a player with Cal, but on and up through the coaching. It's been really fun to follow and watch her development as a coach and what she's done with these programs. You know, 2022 being the most successful year in the Aggies Division I history on the back of 2021, which was their most successful season since 2015. So she is starting to see kind of the fruits of her labor in the 5th season now, and I really think that this is a program on the rise.
It's a foul against UC Davis. Possession back to Portland. You mentioned the playing career of Tracy Ham at Cal, where she was terrific, graduating in 2006. In their Hall of Fame, the Lair of Legends. So she's familiar with a coach on the other side for Portland, of course, with Maite Zabala, a terrific goalkeeper for the Golden Bears as well. And Zabala's in charge of the scheduling for Portland, so it would make sense that someone that she knew, she was able to kind of reach out and set this one up. Not to say she's friends with every opposing coach she plays, but UC Davis, a program on the rise and very worthy of a matchup here at Merlo Field. Just over 5 minutes into this one. Primarily possession for UC Davis. Let's see if Portland can get something going here. Here's Sawan, playing to the right side to Togiai. But Brannigan's there defensively. Now they go to Yamada. Risa Yamada plays it near side to Sam Tristan. Looking for the touch pass there from Canavan. But taken away by Turner. Right back to Canavan, and here she goes. Canavan on the right side. Into the 18, she'll take a shot, but deflected. And nearly goes out of play, but kept in well by Matthijs and cleared out over the sideline.
UC Davis already so dangerous on the counter. Portland just a little late with their runs, checking and showing for the pass. So they're getting into the space a tiny bit late, giving it up on the first touch. But UC Davis already capitalizing so well on these counterattacks, trying to just catch Portland out a bit. And great hustle there from Matthijs not to give up the corner.
And Matthijs is there again defensively. UP looking for a quick counter. Here's Sawan. They've got some numbers here. Sawan plays it near side to Kayla Adams. Adams one-on-one, well defended. That's Bella Mayo, the junior. Fregoso turns it over as Keely Doctor steps in front for UP. Here's Sawan, all the way to Togiai on the far side. Togiai finding a little bit of room here, turning the corner. Togiai passes, and it's knocked away for the moment. Back to Sawan. Katana Norman. Now to Aaliyah Doctor in the middle of the field. Rather, that was Aubrey Turner. Now up top, they try to go forward to Sawan, but as there usually is, a defender glued to Sawan, and the pass is a bit too far out in front. The defense from Elise Picard, the freshman. The UP now gets a throw-in. So again, a week ago from tonight, Pilots hosted Washington State. Great game, and a match that if you watched and you look at the stats or watched it, you probably say Portland could have or maybe even should have won that match, or at least came away with a draw. They outshot the Cougars 19-9 and 9-4 in terms of shots on goal, but give credit to Wazoo. They came away with the goal from Bridget Rieken early on in the second half and got the win. And Michelle French still very encouraged coming out of that match.
There was a lot to like about what Portland did in that match. So much more shot creation, and not just random chances. They were creating some really good quality chances, and we saw pretty much a heroic effort from Washington State's keeper, who is likely an all-league, will be an all Pac-12 selection on, first, second, third team. Just a tremendous performance from her to keep Portland off the scoreboard. And so I think Coach French is right. There's just a lot to like about what the team has going forward and the options that they had, whether it's coming in from crosses, through the run of play, up through the middle of the field. Just a lot of different opportunities for them.
Yeah, Nadia Cooper, the clean sheet for Washington State. It's a Cougs team that is up to number 17 now in the country. They can continuing their winning ways. So certainly not a bad loss at all for UP. Sawan tries to turn into the box. A couple defenders on her, knocked over the inline. And here's the corner for Portland. First of the match. It's Yekel who will play it in. Near side, Sawan, left-footed lob in the air, headed, left-footed shot, driven along the turf, knocked away, the ball still loose. That was Keely Doctor on the shot and gave it a good one there. Kaylee Goldstein with a diving effort on the save.
I love Doctor keeping it low here, but Sawan just cuts it back, and look at this, just a lovely little chip. So hard to defend and get any kind of power on that header out, and Doctor zips it in. And on this surface, on this day, on this kind of day with the rain, you got to keep those shots low and skipping off the ground to keep the opposing team and goalkeeper unbalanced.
Sawan, she'll take a right-footed shot. That's off target. And a goal kick for UC Davis. But Portland, after a kind of a slow opening 5 minutes, have opened up a little bit, creating some chances for themselves. Here's Sawan stepping in front. Got some space here. Trying to play to Yekel, but stepped in front. That's Emma Vane defensively. Doctor and Turner going back and forth on the far sideline. Or excuse me, Eliana Wong. That's Wong. It's off to a great start as a starter in the back line this season for Portland. Wong again. Portland displaying some patience. Down the far side to Togiai. Picard right on her back defensively. And a throw in for Portland on the sideline in the corner. Coming up on 12 minutes into this match, both teams with 2 shots apiece early on. And an offside against the Pilots.
Yeah, just a little bit of situational awareness there from Wong. Throws the ball in and then watches a little bit, doesn't pull herself back on side, doesn't realize the Aggie back line has pulled themselves up, and just that nice easy ball back to where it ends up being offside.
Norman heads it back. Couple headers. It's towards Matthijs now, or to Adams. Yekel had it for a moment and was sit to the wet grass here on the bluff. She's fouled. And a good position for a free kick now for the Pilots. It'll be Wong to play it in. In the air towards the middle of the box. Headed down, it's loose. Doctor. And now here's UC Davis looking for the counter. Composed clearance there, and Canavan gets it forward to Sam Tristan, the former All-Mountain West Conference forward from Fresno State. Meandering through, but Katana Norman takes it away for Portland.
A nice job there from Norman to dispossess Tristan and then just get her head up and keep it. Realize she doesn't have any players around her. Kind of sticks her foot on the ball, turns around, and lets Portland now have some patience in their buildup. But they can't counter quick if she can't find that quick outlet. Great play from her to just put her foot on it and keep it.
Wong tried to play it forward for Togiai, but it's back over the sideline. Yakel slides into Adams, now to Sawan. Sawan trying to get to that dangerous left foot. Still a ways away from the box here, and she'll drop it back to Matthijs. Back to her, Sawan. Now Turner. Back to Doctor, who lobs it into Sawan. Physical defense, that's Sarah Canavan. At UC Davis, back line holding strong. Both teams' back lines doing a really nice job so far. Tough to get through and into the box so far in this match. .15 minutes in now. Matthijs. Left-footed lob pass forward for Togiai. Headed back by Lindsay Porter, one of the captains for UC Davis. But a throw in with Togiai and the Pilots. Down to Adams quickly. Togiai getting downhill. Wong back to Togiai. She'll fire in across. This is towards Yakel. Over the goal line. And a corner for the Pilots.
That's lovely stuff there from the Pilots. Togiai is so capable of hitting just that nice driven ball in, and Yakel turns the corner around her defender, but just can't quite get the foot or head on it. It's just at that awkward height right there of just as she's coming around Vane, and Vane does a great job there just keeping Yakel bothered enough that she can't get a clean shot off.
Vane, first team all Big West. Nice job defensively on that play. All the way back to Wong, who plays it to Bree Norris. Turner, nice move. Now forward for Sawan on the near side. Speedy defender and Ruelas battling for the ball, and a throw in for the Pilots. Dribbles into the box. Dangerous pop into the air. Goldstein comes out from her post and tracks it down. Started her career at Washington. Played in just 4 matches in a couple years there. Transferred over to UC Davis. Started last year where she was excellent, allowing only 18 goals in her 18 starts. And off to an even better start here this year. Now her team going the other way offensively with Brannigan. All the way back to Tristan now. Tristan again. Back out wide. Played in by Canavan.
Right now, Portland just struggling to win the midfield battle simply because Matthijs is having to drop back. Doctor's having to drop back. They're almost in the back line playing with the other 4 backs, and that leaves Yekel having to drop back into their spot. So when they're trying to counter, they're looking for that player forward to counter, and they just don't have anybody there. You saw Swan was frustrated a bit there on the initial turnover. She turns to play where Yekel should be, but Yekel's too far back because Matthijs and Doctor are too far back. So Portland has to have a bit more discipline in their defending and how they're approaching this, because when they win the ball and counter, they need to have the players in the right spots.
We'll see if maybe Michelle French and the coaching staff's communication to the subs that are set to check in can change that. Brooke Miller and Aaliyah Doctor are set to check in for the Pilots at next opportunity. Ruelas with a high toss in off the head of Swan. Try to get it towards the middle. Cleared away by Brannigan. Tristan's touch goes off Turner. Now Vane all the way back to Mayo on the back line. Into the bleachers, and the subs will come in now for Portland. So Aaliyah Doctor in, Aubrey Turner out, Brooke Miller in, and Kayla Adams out. The first 2 subs of this match.
And Bella Yekel will drop into that outside left back position where Aubrey Turner just was coming off the field, pushing Aaliyah Doctor up into the attack. I really like this sub. A lot more positive here now from Portland going forward. Brooke Miller, not that Kayla Adams wasn't doing a nice job, but I think it's just a good bit of, you know, we're about 20 minutes into the match now, and it's a good time to sub, inject a little bit more energy, inject somebody who's got some feistiness and some nastiness to them in Brooke Miller, who's going to really try to unbalance the center back pairing of Picard and Mayo.
Well, Michelle French is really excited about Brooke Miller this season. She said Miller transformed over the course of the summer, really committed herself to the game. She said she spent endless hours honing her craft, diving into video. So we'll see if she can take a big leap forward here in 2023. Swan back to Doctor, now down to Yekel. Waits for Swan to get up, plays it towards Togiai, headed by Miller towards her, but it's Lindsay Porter there defensively. Like you mentioned, about 20 minutes into this match now. Seems like the last 8 minutes or so, both teams kind of feeling each other out, not able to create any quality scoring chances. Just 2 shots apiece so far.
And it's every bit the tactical battle that I thought it would be. You know, you look at the Aggies who are lining up in a 4-5-1, 4-3-3, depending on whether they're on the attack or the defense. They transition in and out of this formation so well, and it's so hard to defend and attack against, just because all of these players, you can tell, know their rotations and know their spots. Portland, on the other hand, are rotating a bit between a 4-back and a 3-back, mostly 4 in the back, you know, having to do some extra defending through the midfield based on how UC Davis is playing, but they're still able to attack out of it, and they're looking and finding some of these opportunities. So this has been fun to watch, enjoyable as we start to get a bit of a downpour now.
Yeah, it is. It's getting serious with the rainfall. It was about maybe an hour and a half before we kicked off. It was raining about like this, and then it slowed down, and now once the match starts, of course, it really rains maybe as hard as it has all day here in Portland. Tristan, a collision with Swan there on the near corner, rather.
This is where we
Ash,
typically, this is the kind of weather you see here as Tristan just tries to get it, just gets tangled up there with Ash. Ash comes out the better for it, but it's these kind of matches, especially early in the season, you will see the California teams, the teams from the warmer climates, start to slip around the field. They're wearing their normal shoes. They come up to Portland and they don't realize that there's other shoes that you wear when you play on wetter fields like Portland does. So it'll be interesting to see how the weather plays into this.
It didn't have really any of this last season. Got pretty fortunate. The rain kind of started later on in the fall. But it's September 1st here, and we've got a hard rain game here at Merlo Field.
Our Villa Drum squad, that's how they show up, rain or shine. They are, yeah, no phasing to them.
Right. Some people probably staying home and watching here on ESPN Plus, but obviously they're out in full force.
I have seen them like that on some of the coldest days in December at the Final Four, at the College Cup, and in the playoffs, just, you know, shirtless in their kilts, banging those drums and keeping the team going. They're a great, the Villa Drum Squad are a great support section.
It was such a great crowd on hand for that Washington State game last Thursday. 2,300 people here. That was the most of any match last season besides the Oregon game, in which there were more than 3,000. There was a section of Cougs fans here, you got to give them credit, but it was primarily Portland fans. I mean, the UP faithful really came out Thursday. And when you consider how hard it's raining, it's a pretty darn good crowd here today again.
Absolutely. It's good to see, and it's actually not that cold out. It's about 60, 65 degrees. So this is great. If you're watching the players run around and worried about it being too cold, when you run around out there in the rain like this, it's actually kind of pleasant. I like it. I think for me, this is ideal Portland women's soccer weather.
We might see you out in the net in the second half.
Yeah, actually, that could happen.
Where did Angela go?
That's me right there in the red jersey.
Yes. Uh-oh, here's an opportunity for UC Davis. The flag is up. That was Risa Yamada, the junior from Japan, who almost broke free there.
Just can't quite clear her line, just about a step and a half offside there. Probably wasn't expecting the ball to come back so quickly the other way.
Yamada, one of those dangerous players. A couple years ago with 6 goals and 4 assists. She's already scored 2 goals here this season. Here's Sawan. Ruelas glued to her. Well defended, but a throw in for the Pilots.
That's what I do like about this. Another great thing about this Aggie team that I love to see is just the diversity in scoring for them. There's not one player shouldering the load. There's Sam Tristan, who scored 3. You've got Yamada and Simmons, who have, you know, a brace each, and then you have a handful of other players with a goal each. Really diversified, with a lot of goals and a lot of assists coming their way. So, you know, whoever's getting it done on the day that's great for them.
And that's why UC Davis, part of the reason they have their sights set high in the Big West here this season. They're 5th in the preseason coaches poll as Ash drops it back to Bree Norris. But that might be underselling them a little bit.
I think it is. I think that they're going to surprise some teams in the Big West. They're going to be quite good, and I think, yeah, 5th place is definitely lower than I would rate them.
Yeah, I mean, they were 2nd last year. 6-2-2 record in Big West play, and they returned 7 starters plus Risa Yamada, who missed almost all of the season. It's a terrific season last year for UC Davis. 2nd place in the Big West, their highest finish in Division I history. They made it the farthest in the Big West tournament they ever have, to the semifinal. Their best win percentage since 2011. They also had a win at number 5 at the time, Santa Clara. Of course, Santa Clara didn't quite turn out to be the team maybe we thought, but that's still a big win.
That's still a big win. It doesn't matter because Santa Clara has a program and as a perennial powerhouse, that is a huge game. And Santa Clara typically doesn't lose games against, you know, players against teams from the Big West, given their long history. So even though Santa Clara had a down year, what they would consider a down year by their standards, that is a huge win for the UC Davis program.
It's exciting times in Davis under head coach Tracy Ham. And they're in a competitive battle here in the first half with Portland. Tristan. Nice ball to Canavan. Canavan going to her right. She'll take a shot. And that will go a little bit wide, and it was not deflected, so goal kick for the Pilots.
And a great link up there for the Aggies. I'd just love to see that from Tristan. Just a slight hesitation and drag on the ball, and just frees up enough time for Canavan to make that run and receive it right where Tristan could play her in. But Tristan just slows the play down, drags Portland players inside a little bit, allows Canavan to run across her in an easy dish out.
Well, Tracy Ham hoping for a breakout season for Sarah Canavan. She said she is more healthy this year, has worked really hard in the offseason, Big West all-freshman team selection a year ago. Just one of those players who's part of the depth of UC Davis that can take another step forward here this year. Katana Norman has it taken away. The pressure by Yamada.
Norman just doesn't get her head up as she receives that ball. Did not see Yamada coming in to pressure her.
Now the shot. Norris dives, and it's just wide.
And Katana Norman definitely going to have to rethink and make sure that she has to be a bit sharper receiving the ball out of the back in those situations.
Emma Vane on the shot here. Or check that, excuse me, that's Canavan on the shot.
Canavan, yep.
Nice ball forward to Brooke Miller. Uh-oh, trouble by Goldstein. Ball's loose. Portland over to Sawan. And a foul called against the Pilots. Boy, Goldstein raced all the way out and nearly made a grave mistake there.
Well, I think she was already out and just didn't have time to just get back and recover. So she stuck her line right there, and all you have to do is just make chaos, right? That's a dangerous spot to be in, but if you could just make chaos, as Goldstein did, that generally is going to give your team time to give back and recover and help around you.
Just put that on a shirt. Just make chaos.
Make chaos.
I love that. It's a winning formula. Sawan.
Anytime you have a goalkeeper out of their penalty box, that's all it is.
That's chaotic.
Make chaos.
Trying to transition the other way now. Canavan. Katana Norman steps up and gets possession back for the Pilots. UC Davis really applying some pressure here in the backfield.
That's better from Norman. Head up that time. Just a little quick glance down the field as she is about to receive that ball.
And we see that a lot from her at creating some offense. She tried to play forward for Sawan. Matthijs points to where Yekel should go. To where Yekel ends up with the ball. Now Yekel going forward. Collides with Tristan. Play on. Ball off the stomach of Brannigan. Reverse all the way up top to Yamada. Yamada looking for the beautiful pass through to Tristan. Took a risk, it didn't pay off for her. Cleared away over the sideline to the Portland bench with less than 15 to go here in the first half.
It's another subtle formation shift from the Pilots. Eliana Wong over here on the near side of the field. She's been playing out at right back, and now Portland just a subtle shift into a 3-back, a 5-back, however you want to talk about it. But Wong now with, I think, Doctor playing very wide, and one of those will transition into the back line as needed. So 3-back, 2 wide players that'll transition into the back line, and then you see Togiai dropping into the middle. I like this. This is going to be good, I think, for Portland.
Togiai to Sawan. Trying to turn, but the physical defense from Bella Mayo, the junior, gets possession back for the Aggies.
It leaves them a little bit less to attack with up top. It just leaves Sawan and Miller up top. But I think with Wong and Doctor out wide, those extra players coming into the attack is going to be just something different and difficult for UC Davis to adjust to.
It's a very tactical game right now, a chess match between these two coaches.
It is, I love it.
Sawan looking to turn, whistle.
I'm gonna call a handball on Sawan. Seeing it bounced up into her forearm. But likes that pass, that's good communication. Didn't come off that time, but she's telling Wong, telling Yekel there, keep it coming. That's the stuff that she wants. You just see the ball bounce off her up into the forearm there. But that's the stuff she wants. She feels like she's got a chance that she can turn against Ruelas there, or Ruelas, and she's got a chance to get around her and create something for the Pilots.
It's probably always smart to encourage your teammates when they try to pass you the ball too.
Yeah.
That's probably a good rule of thumb.
It doesn't come off, but that's the kind of stuff that you want to keep seeing. Keep doing that. Keep providing me that kind of service. I really like this is where I think I'm going to have the opportunity.
That's something Michelle French has praised Nydia Sawant for as part of her development. She said that, you know, in club soccer in high school, it was just kind of her against the other team, and now she trusts her teammates.
Yeah, it's very one note. Sometimes when you were a player of Sawant's caliber on the team that she was on, her team was good. She had a really good team around her, but often it all revolved around her. So they would just give the ball to Nydia, and then she would just do whatever she needed to do, score the goals, they'd win, and you know, everybody would go home happy. But you know, when you do that at this level, everybody knows, and as we've been watching throughout this game, UC Davis has done a very good job at marking Nydia Sawant and keeping her contained and making it difficult for her to find any kind of opening. And when that happens, then you need to have other players who are confident and capable of stepping up and filling that offensive load.
And Sawant just subbed out along with Kaylee Togiai. Kate Howes in for the second time this season, along with Mackenzie Frimpong-Ellertson. Here's Brooke Miller. Back to Howes, the sophomore from Utah. Now to Matthijs. Howes didn't play against Washington State. Got 26 minutes of action in the season opening win at Cal State Northridge. Certainly a player that Portland can rely on this year. Michelle French said that Howes used this offseason to really get stronger and work on her defense. There's been no question of Howes' offensive ability, but she's been very proud of how Howes has developed as a complete player.
And when I went out and watched them in some of their preseason, they had an inter-squad match that I watched them, and I watched them play against University of British Columbia. You can see that in her. You can see just the more confidence. The stronger you get, the more physically capable you feel you are, the more confident you are in taking chances and pulling off some technical work, some skill work that you may not have been able to do before.
It's Tristan Miller. You mentioned she's feisty, and that's a perfect example right there, getting possession back for the Pilots.
Just harasses and harasses and harasses Tristan until she gets that ball.
Miller, a feisty, intense player on the pitch, but Michelle French said that she is just a big question asker off the field. She's always trying to get pointers from coaches, asking about things. She even said, French said, she actually overanalyzes sometimes.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you said that, that's such a great characteristic and quality to have, but sometimes you can get into your own head. You start to think things too much instead of relying on your natural instinct. And I think Brooke Miller has a lot of really good natural instinct, and you just have to learn when to pull the information and when to just push it away and let your instinct take over. And that's just part of your development as you get up into these higher levels. And it's been fun to watch for her the last year and a half, this development.
Yeah, she's just a sophomore. It's kind of easy to forget how young some of these Portland players are. Miller playing 18 matches last year. A lot of young, talented players on this Portland team. Still very early in their careers. Less than 9 minutes to go. Tactical battle so far here at Merlo Field. 4 shots to 2, advantage to UC Davis. 1 shot on goal apiece. The numbers in this first half so far. Norman. Pinball back and forth and into the stands over there. Throw in for the Pilots. Now down to Yekel. Lobs it in the air to Howes. A pressure defense from behind by Chandler Connors, who just subbed in about a minute ago for the first time for UC Davis.
And interesting here, Connors comes onto the near side. Tristan switches over to the far side. Tristan had been matching up against Yekel and now will match up against Norman. So I'm really interested to see how that goes for the last 7-8 minutes here.
Norman trying to pop it back to the middle, but it's right to Canavan, who goes down to Connors. Trying to create something in the attacking third here for UC Davis. Yako on her closely. Now to Brannigan. Brannigan lobs it into the box. Headed down, but it's right to Connors. Popped in the air. Cleared away by Portland. Boy, that was a dangerous ball there if Connors would have been able to get control. How about the hustle of Frimpong Ellertson, nearly able to get to that ball. Now Doctor has it for Portland. Nice move. And a throw in for the Pilots. Matthijs looking downfield, surveys, and goes down to Yako. Back to Matthijs. Honorable mention all WCC nod a year ago. Lobs it down the sideline, and a throw in for UC Davis. And a sub in for the Aggies, Taylor Deaver. Didn't play on Sunday in the win at San Francisco. Good to see her back out on the pitch. Sophomore playing 10 games last year, in for the 4th time this season. Ruelas to Connors. Howe's right on her. Squeezed in by Frimpong Ellertson, but another throw in for UCD. Matthijs fires it up the pitch. All the way to the Portland bench.
Connors gets that, tries to get that ball back from Picard, just couldn't quite handle the bounce. Wasn't quite ready to check back in and into the space and receive that one there. So Portland gets another chance.
Here's Miller. Now Ash reverses up to Norman. Back down the other way to Yako. To Matthijs over midfield. Left-footed pass forward for Miller. Over the inline goal kick for UC Davis. Well, less than 5 to go here in this first half. Are there any adjustments you anticipate for Portland, not just this half, but in the second frame?
I think that they're just going to talk to them about tightening up some of these little details. A lot of some of these unforced errors that are leading to giveaways where, you know, the instance with Katana Norman is a good example, just not getting your head up and reading the pressure and playing into pressure and turning it over right away. So a lot of very little details, and I think also just from on the attack standpoint of trying to get some energy out there for the players off the ball to help dictate what the player on the ball can do, because the run.
Connors, right-footed shot over the net. What a ball forward to Connors. And she had a good opportunity there. Connors has been very active coming off the bench, getting the shot on there.
And that's an example of just what I was going to say. The run dictates the pass. The player on the ball is making the decisions. But right now you see Connors just making that great run forward, and the player on the ball is like, yeah, I can get that to you. I can get it up there, and it's going to put Connors in a position where she can do something and get a shot off. So I think we'll see Portland probably make an adjustment around that of how can they get a bit more movement off the ball for the player on the ball to make some better decisions in possession.
For a Portland team that outshot Washington State 19-9, they're being outshot 5-2 right now in this first half. We're seeing some players slip and fall here in this first half, starting to ramp up too as the pitch gets more played on. Nice ball into the box. Touched by Vane, looking for some space. And down to Norris, who cleans it up.
That was so well done from Tristan. What a lovely little touch coming in off the cross. Back to goal, pressurized, and just drops it right in front of Vane for an opportunity for her. Great stuff there from the Aggies.
Plenty of reason for optimism for UC Davis in this first half. They have certainly had more quality scoring chances for the first 43 minutes. Swan, or rather Frimpong Ellertson, I should say, down to House. Down to Yekel. Trying to get it to Frimpong Ellertson, but the tight defense from Vaint. Nice move by House.
You can see maybe the impact of last week's game from Portland and the efforts of we talked about earlier in this half of Washington State's goalkeeper Cooper. Portland now perhaps looking for a more perfect shot, a more perfect opportunity, because last week a lot of what they were throwing against Washington State was being saved, was being heroically saved by Cooper. And so now you're probably seeing a little bit of that lack of confidence of last week and trying to finish coming to play here, because they're looking for something more perfect, more ideal, instead of just trying to find a window where they can just get a shot off and test Goldstein.
Yeah, that's a great point. But there was, I mean, heroic's a great way to describe the way Nadia Cooper played for Washington State. There was 2, maybe even 3 goals Portland would have scored against most keepers in the nation, but Cooper came up with those saves, and maybe it's playing an impact here mentally. House tries to flick it forward to Miller. Now all the way back to Yekel. Portland looking for a push with just 1:11 to go. Matthijs, left-footed shot, but the defender snuck in from behind. That was Fregoso to affect the shot attempt there, and it goes to the arms of Goldstein. How about Brooke Miller sneaking
Great read
in?
from her, yeah.
Throw in for the Pilots. Still some time here, 41 seconds. Maybe they'll be a little more loose now.
Maybe.
Just let it fly.
Oh, not that loose.
That's a little too loose. And precious seconds tick off the clock. Less than 30 to go now. Fregoso. Well done, playing it down the sideline and wasting plenty of time here. Down to 12 seconds. Back to Norris with 7 seconds and counting. And UC Davis out shooting Portland. Strong half for the Aggies, 6-3 the shot differential, but both teams certainly a reason to be optimistic with still an entire half to go.
Yeah, and again, we've said it several times throughout the half. This has been every bit the tactical battle that we expected. 2 very good coaches setting up 2 very good teams very well against each other. It's been a lot of fun to watch the adjustments mid-game that Coach Michelle French has had to make, and seeing how Tracy Ham, her counterpart for the Aggies, has had to adjust as a result.
2 of the best coaches in the region. Michelle French for Portland, Tracy Ham for UC Davis, going toe-to-toe. Scoreless through 45. Halftime, we'll have more after this on ESPN+.
I love the fact that higher education can be transformative. It can change someone's trajectory of their life. So it's my hope that the University of Portland, we are the transformative Catholic university in the West Coast. I was born and raised in the great state of New Jersey. I'm the youngest person in my family. I have some amazing parents who have sacrificed a lot to provide an education for me and my brother. You know, we grew up knowing you're going to get your education, you're going to go to church, and anything is possible as you go forward in your life. My name is Rob Kelly, and I am the president of the University of Portland.
We were simply thrilled when Dr. Kelly accepted the opportunity to come to the University of Portland. We spent hours, weeks, months discerning this important decision, and he was exactly what this university needs moving forward.
Hey guys. Nice to see you.
I think you've already seen that on campus already. Dr. Kelly's everywhere. He's ubiquitous. He's energetic. I think he's a tremendous role model. His experience in higher education at this university and other universities will serve him so very well. There's no one more prepared to lead this university into its next great chapter here on the Bluff.
This is my first day with lots of students on campus in a physical format. The students are back, and this is the beginning of it. It's like Christmas morning.
Clearly a person that was able to build connections and relationships with people. His prior experiences, it was very intentional that Rob was preparing himself to one day hopefully have the opportunity to lead a Catholic university, and I'm grateful that he chose us as much as we chose him.
I've been so blessed to know him for over 24 years, and one of the very first conversations we had, we found out we both loved higher ed, and he talked about, I want to be a college president one day. And it really struck me because my father was a college president, and so I saw a lot of similarities in somebody that I, greatly admire and love more than anything. He is like the cheerleader for our family.
My children, Alex and Addison, first they ground me completely. They give all of this work that I'm doing and everything meaning.
To be such a collaborator, communicator, and somebody that really deeply believes in justice, it seemed like those were the things that he just naturally is.
I have been extremely blessed to have different people in my life. People like Sister Frances, she was my 4th grade school teacher. I remember those little lessons that she taught us, and I bring that with me into the work that I do now.
Welcome to all of you.
My message to students would be that they're loved. We want to walk with them and accompany them as they go off and do amazing things in the world. And we're always going to be there. It's about community, and we're going to help them to get connected as we go forward in life. Welcome home, and go Pilots.
snacks and cold beverages. Charge
Rainy night on the Bluff. Scoreless through one half of play between Portland and UC Davis. Chris Clayton and Angela Harrison here with you on ESPN Plus. It's been a very tactical match so far. What do you expect will be the big changes in half number 2?
Well, I'm hoping we see Portland come out just a bit more motivated to look for better opportunities to shoot. They were getting down into their final third and just kind of putting their foot on the ball, not really generating any shots towards or around goal. So I'm hoping what they're talking to the team about right now is just getting into that end and just finding a window to shoot. Doesn't matter. Get Kaylee Togier out there to shoot from 35 yards. Just start putting shots on frame.
Yeah, they outshot Washington State 19-9, being outshot 6-3 so far. Had a couple opportunities though.
Yeah, and here's a good look starting right off the bat from the Aggies. Sam Tristan comes in and just laces one down. No problem for Bree Norris, but that's a great start for the Aggies and kind of indicative of what this half would look like. Here, Sawan just has a nice little chip ball, drags the player in and out, and then Doctor just crushes this ball. A little trouble off the wet turf for Goldstein, but this is what I'm talking about. This is what Portland needs to do. Just come and take that. That's such a hard, right there you see what a goalkeeper has to deal with. Wet surface and about 1,000 people in front of you. Just put something on frame, but another long chance here from the Aggies, and they're looking to do the same.
So scoreless through one half, a few opportunities. This was probably the best chance. They played it forward all the way to Chandler Connors, and she rocketed it over the frame. So,
yeah, and just Portland does a nice job coming in there and defending. Yekel last second just bothers Connor enough that she knows she can't put the shot low. Has to go high.
Just enough here. Rainy day. The rain jackets are out. The umbrellas are out. We still have another 45 to play. Portland and UC Davis should be a great finish when we come back here on ESPN Plus. Back at Merlo Field, scoreless match so far through one half of play between Portland and UC Davis. Just about a minute away until we start this second half. Chris Clayton and Angela Harrison here with you from the Bluff on ESPN Plus. Let's take a look at the numbers from that first half as we see UC Davis. Well, we will see, but 6-3 shot advantage for UC Davis. But the Pilots do have a couple corners in this match too.
Well, and I think for me, the shots on goal is more indicative. 6-3 shots, more attacking chances created. But right now, Portland shots on goal 2-1. So in terms of quality chances, what they're trying to do, this is what we want to see more from Portland of is what are they forcing Goldstein to deal with? What are they forcing the Aggies back line to deal with? And interestingly enough, our two players to watch, Fregoso and Togiai, no shots between either of them to show for it.
Togiai had 4 shots, 2 on goal against Washington State, so give some credit to the UC Davis defense containing her there. And this is a UC Davis team that only had 4 shots on goal at San Francisco, but they scored on 3 of those opportunities. So typically with their talent level and their skill with the ball at their feet, they're able to finish it off. So a reason for optimism for the Pilots. They've contained this prolific Aggies attack so far.
Yeah, and you can see, again, now we've got the halftime statistics up. You can see just how even this game has been, and we keep talking about what the tactical battle has looked like. So I think it's going to be a fun 45 minutes shaping up, and I mean, I gotta say, digging these new graphics. These graphics are sharp.
Right? They look good. I'm glad we got around to obviously getting those up, and it's a very exciting season in WCC being on ESPN Plus, a platform that provides more exposure. Looks more sharp, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. Well, we can also give credit to our production team. It's very good.
Yeah.
We have the best in the business, I think.
It's the real deal. Riley Clark, Ray Bradley, the whole crew back there, just phenomenal. Always putting on great shows here at the University of Portland. For good reason, for some great programs here on the campus of the Pilots. Looking for their 2nd win of the season. A rare loss here at Merlo Fields. Last Thursday against Washington State, they were unbeaten last year. The last time they lost was almost 2 years ago to number 12 BYU. So it's taken nationally ranked teams to beat the Pilots the last couple of years here on the Bluff. And we're back in action for half number 2. The Pilots in those black kits moving left to right. And UC Davis, the road team in the whites. Already playing a ball forward. Ticked away there by Bellameo. Battle for possession on the far side. Trying to get it to Swan, just over her head and all the way to Picard. She'll let it roll to Goldstein. Goldstein, a couple saves so far. A really good one. A diving effort on a excellent Keely Doctor shot that was driven along the grass. Toughest save of the match so far. Adams down to Swan. Reverses all the way down to Doctor. Keely Doctor. Drops it back to Katana Norman. She'll launch to Swan on the near side. The defense of the freshman Picard. And a throw in for the Pilots. Here's Tristan. Now to Yamada. Tristan again. She'll quickly go to Vane. Yamada with Norman on her back. It's a nice turn, but Norman with a nice tackle as well to send it over the sideline. Katana Norman, such a prolific one-on-one defender there against one of the best in the Big West.
So well timed from Norman just to come sliding through. Just pokes the ball away without really interfering with Yamada's progress. Nowhere for Yamada to go but over.
And Yamada sent in that service there, but it bounced to Bree Norris. It's 2.5 minutes into this second half. Doctor drops it back to Norman. Now Swan plays it off her chest. Create some space to Keely Doctor. But it's over the sideline. That's Nina Rode who's in there for Portland. Rode playing for the first time, a career debut for Nina Rode. Number 23 in black. A freshman from Corvallis. Went to Mountainside High School. Part of the Portland Thorns Academy. Michelle French said that she's got such a high soccer IQ, understands the game. They're excited to see her development, but kind of an interesting position to put Rode into in a big match here.
I mean, I would be very surprised if Rode did not have a high soccer IQ.
Right.
her father was a legendary player for Portland back in the 90s, Linus Rode, former college coach himself at Oregon State University several years ago, and then moved up into the Portland area. So Nina's got really good. Nina Rode's got really good background, and she's got a dad who played, was capped. I think he was capped with the Canadian national team. So really good high soccer IQ. She's been around the game her whole life, and just has a tremendous capacity for, reading the play, understanding how things develop right there. Just peels out wide as Doctor comes across and puts herself in wide open space right now. So
let's see if she gets it. Keely Doctor. Uh-oh, player shaken up for UC Davis. And a corner opportunity for Portland. That's Sammy Ruelas, the junior.
You see Doctor just cuts across the field all the way through and just plays the ball out here. You see Sawan just going at Ruelas, and Ruelas, as the ball goes wide, closes down, and then you see her just kind of sticks awkwardly there on that tackle, trying to play the ball, but just something with her left leg. Looks like maybe potentially a hyperextension with how she landed, maybe something with her knee or her hip there.
I've had some bad luck with players being not just maybe injured, but shaken up here. The game against Washington State, there was, I think, 4 total players between the two teams that had to be walked off the pitch, whether it was a head injury or a leg injury. So first time we've seen that in this match, thankfully.
Yeah, early going in the season, it's still your body's still trying to get used to the grind of the weekly games. It's interesting because it's no matter the advancements in sports science and sports medicine, and there's still, even when I played it, you could do as much fitness as you wanted, but there's no replacing game fitness.
Right.
And so even with all the advancements that we've had in sports science and sports medicine, is that you come out here, you start playing, it's a live game, bodies are flying everywhere, and yeah, you just can't help but be sore or have some things that you're just not used to.
Yeah, there's no better training than a real game, and that's certainly players get thrown into the fire across the country, around the nation. Hopefully Ruelas can come back quickly. Cool opportunity for her at Chino Hills, California. Listed her hero is Megan Rapinoe, getting a chance to play here on the Bluff. Having a great career so far with the Aggies. In her 3rd season, playing in her 41st match of her career. As good as it gets around the country, Merlo Fields.
Not too shabby of a venue.
No, even on a rainy night like this, where, by the way, the rain has slowed down.
Substitution for UC Davis, number 26, Kylie Redmond on.
So they bring in Kylie Redmond to replace Ruelas.
Ruelas moving a bit better as she comes off the field than when she stood up, so that's very encouraging, very positive.
Meanwhile, a big corner opportunity for the Pilots with Matthijs in the air. To the middle of the box, headed down, it's in! Portland scores! Isabella.
I think that's Rademacher.
Rademacher, how about that?
Yellow shoes, dark hair.
Yes.
Looks a lot like Yakel. I can see that.
How about that? First career goal for Rademacher. Caught everybody off guard.
And just Portland, UC Davis in a down moment, having one of their players, Ruelas, come off the field on a corner, but terrific ball up here by Wong, and you just see Rademacher come back there at the backside. Picard just coming in, can't quite get herself up and in good position, and Rademacher sneaks it by Goldstein and sneaks it by Mayo, and just catches UC Davis against the run of play at this point, I think.
Well, I'm supposed to be ready for that. I'm not supposed to be caught off guard, but hey, I mean, how about Michelle French, Nina Rode, Violet Rademacher bringing in some new bodies here in the second half, and it pays off beautifully. 1-0 lead for the Pilots on Violet Rademacher, the sophomore from Meridian, Idaho's first career goal. She's coming back from an ACL injury. Great to see her healthy and making an impact for the Pilots. Got 36 minutes of action in the opening victory at Cal State Northridge. And then she puts on some moves there.
There's no greater confidence than scoring a goal.
Right. And just the elation her teammates had. Obviously, scoring a goal, you're always going to be happy, but you could see they were especially happy to see someone like her who worked so hard to come back from that injury to come and get a goal in a game like this.
It's, you know, ACLs, again, we just talked about the advancements in sports medicine and sports science. You know, ACLs aren't the career ender they used to be back in, you know, the 80s and 90s, where it was just a much more difficult rehab and difficult surgery, but it is still no joke. And the high school kids that I used to coach and the kids that I've talked to that, you know, have done this, you know, have much more available to them. You know, you talk about the anti-gravity treadmills and things like that that help them and help them along in their rehab, but it is still a brutal, grueling, trying, and oftentimes mentally devastating process.
She had such a remarkable high school career, Rocky Mountain High School, 3 state titles there, the Conference Player of the Year. Rademacher was also in the 2021 High School All-America game. So it's not necessarily surprising that she's making an impact, but just kind of the spot she was subbed in out of nowhere in the second half to get the goal. Good coaching move, obviously.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Frimpong Ellertson, she'll play it back over midfield. Now Norman. Down to Matthijs. Head towards Nina Rode. But UC Davis now seeking the counter the other way. Long ball forward for Tristan, headed back. Nice touch there by Matthijs to Wong.
For Aggie friends and family watching from home, just watching Ruelas have a little jog up and down the sideline. She's been attended to by the athletic trainer and seems to be moving a bit better, Sammy Ruelas, up and down the field, and looks to be okay for the moment.
Yeah, based on her body language, she kind of looks like she's getting ready to get subbed back in. So even if she isn't subbed in, it's obviously a great sign. She's looking pretty healthy down there. Yamada turns, nice feed to Vane. Vane with a bit of space, but Katana Norman closes the gap. Vane sends a ball in the middle, cleared away by Yako. Tristan to Yamada, quick shot, it's wide of the net.
You know, even if Ruelas has to spend some time on the injured reserve for the Aggies, I think she's in a good spot. UC Davis has something I've never seen on a roster before, and that's a student athlete wellness supporter.
Yes.
And I think that she'll get to spend time with Murphy Ham, who is their student athlete wellness supporter, who is, for all intents and purposes, a very good doggo and a very good boy who takes care of his players.
You know, I didn't know where you're going with that, but I love it. Yeah, Murphy Ham, Tracy's dog, who is, more importantly, the athlete support wellness dog, who is just as good as it gets at their job. Always supporting.
We stand a canine king.
That's right. Shot by Sawan, nearly dipped back in, just a touch over the crossbar. And what's great about Murphy is, I'll let that wait for a moment.
Yeah, let's talk about the game. Maybe that's my fault. Sawant has 3 players in front of her, but still manages to get a good opportunity, a good shot off as we watch freshman Marley Cavett check into the game for Eliana Wong.
Cavett making her career debut now as well. Freshman from Sacramento. And Cavett's a really interesting player. She's also part of the University of Portland track and field team, a sprinter. So a terrific athlete and soccer player as well, as her mother was a terrific player, Melissa Ravato, in the mid-90s.
She was. Her mother was a fantastic player. I believe Marley did play earlier in the season at Northridge, but this is her home debut. But yeah, Melissa Ravato, her mother, Melissa Cavett, now was played in 3 Final Fours. So the U.S. Youth National Team, under 20s, was as an outside back, and is one of the most best people that I know and have played with.
It's really cool. We're getting to the point where there's teammates of you and Michelle French, who their kids are now playing for the University of Portland at Family Connection.
Yeah, Marley would be the first that out of our program that has had her mom play in the program and is now coming to the university to play for the program herself, which I think is very cool, very special, and very weird because, like, I feel like I only stopped playing 5 years ago, and if you really do the math, like, please don't, because it's emotionally devastating to me personally.
It was a little bit more than 5, but not too much more.
Not too much more.
Matthijs looking to play in the free kick here. Goes to Sawant. Bit too much on it over the goal line. So 33 to play in the second half. UC Davis looking for an answer as Sam Tristan will sub out for the first time. Devin Simmons, the junior, in for her. She's from Oregon, played at South Eugene High School. Is one of the greatest players of all time for the Axe. She's actually the Southwest Conference all-time leader in career goals and assists. Devin Simmons coming in for the Aggies.
And as we mentioned, Sammy Ruelas back onto the pitch. So good to see her out after her earlier shakeup. Maybe not so good for Murphy. Doesn't get a pal to hang out with.
Murphy doesn't. They don't need him right now. Here's Yamada.
I'm just saying that if I were in charge of the NCAA, that's a coaching roster spot that I would make sure that every team in the country had filled.
Yes, you have to have a support dog. Here's Yamada on the long lob up front. Norman races over the hustle play to clear it away. Seen a couple long balls, just some success for UC Davis after Chandler Connors had a free run earlier.
And Norman does such a good job of tracking that ball as it's being played across, tracking her man, tracking the ball so that as she gets there, she puts herself in the best position to play that out and not get herself in any kind of foul trouble. Tremendous ball there from Ellis. And Norman, such a nice job to track that down and see it out under pressure from Yamada.
Now a throw in from the corner. Pop towards the middle of the box. Nice ball. And sent the other way by Matthijs. Rode with a touch to Sawant. And what a touch it was by Nina Rode. Here's Sawant. She's got Cavett making a run. Plays it back to the middle. Wow, what a ball. Sawant steps through. Oh, no whistle. Pilots fans can't believe it. They thought they had a PK off what was a terrific pass by Marley Cavett. Take a look.
You can see our referee was checking your earpiece, checking your linesman, but what a ball in here from Cavett. Just plays it right back through to Sawant. Sawant takes a good touch through, and you can just see it looks like Mayo catches her as she comes through, but referee checked with her linesman and said that the contact wasn't a penalty.
I don't think she was happy.
I don't think a lot of people here were happy with that call.
Goldstein able to corral that one. Just over 30 minutes to play. We'll see if that one proves to be a big impact no call. Certainly a tough, quick play. Now there's a whistle call and a foul against UC Davis.
It does look like on that replay that Mayo caught the foot of Sawan as she was going by, but you know, you have to look at Saya McGee, center referee, standing there right on the play, had a better view than we do from up here on the TV screen and saw it differently than we did.
Doctor plays in the box, headed away. And another corner now for Portland. That'll be number 5. No corners yet for UC Davis the other way.
Here we'll get another look at that ball in from Cavett and slowing it down just a bit more. Sawan, again, comes through. Watch her take this touch, and it was Ruelas, not Mayo. Just look right there. That's the contact right there that McGee, our center official, missed. And it was Ruelas, not Mayo. I apologize.
Brooke Miller subs back in for Nina Rode. And here's the corner in. Bit off target, and a goal kick for Goldstein.
And as we go through and have watched that on replay, I'm definitely a person who very much does not want to be critical of referees. They're down there, they see things differently. The game's moving much faster. We have the benefit of replay and things like that, but that one seemed like it was pretty in front of her that the Ruelas clipped Sawan as she was going by her.
Right. We're in the business of showing you what happened, and that crew did a great job slowing it down frame by frame, and it looked like a missed call, but a tough call in a quick situation. Sawan into the box. And these officials do a great job. They're as critical of themselves as anyone.
It is.
If she watches that play back, she would be the first to tell you, hey, I missed it.
Sure, and being a referee, being an official it is literally a thankless job. Everybody's screaming at you because you're not doing it the way they want you to do it. And so that's why I'm never going to be one that is overtly critical of referees, because they have a job. They're down there. They're seeing it differently than how we see it. We have the benefit of slow motion replay and things like that. But, you know, when you look at it from that position, that vantage point, that does seem like something that at this point should have been called.
Yep, that's the life of an official. You're getting yelled at no matter what. Any call like that on a big play. As it stands, UC Davis still down a goal. Wasn't even a guarantee, of course, that Portland finishes the PK. They have a terrific keeper on the other side with Kaylee Goldstein.
Absolutely.
Well, is there an adjustment you think UC Davis makes the rest of this half to try to get a goal in?
Well, it's interesting because Portland has made their adjustment. We saw this in the last 10 or 15 minutes of the first half. They've moved to a 3-back with 5. It's essentially a 3-5-2 with their 2 widest players either joining the attack as a 3rd or 4th forward or joining the back line as a 3rd or 4th defender, or as a 4th or 5th defender in different circumstances, and that's really limited UC Davis's chances going forward. They haven't had as much offense, or we haven't seen them down in their attacking third as much as we did in the first half. They're really struggling to get through Portland's midfield and find some of those wide players. So I really like the adjustments that Michelle French made with bringing those wide players in.
There's Miller. Stops. Turns. Frimpong Ellertson saved by Goldstein.
Good decision there from Miller. Comes in on the angle. She has a window, but she doesn't have as much. She's not seeing as much of the goal. What a pass from Sawan. If you watch here, she's not seeing as much of the goal. She's got it covered, and it's an easy decision there to try to play it to Ellerton, who's got more to see and more opportunity to try to get it up and over those defenders, but just unfortunately right into the hands of Goldstein.
It's a whistle and a foul. That's tagged against Devin Simmons, sending Rademacher to the deck. And Norman to play the free kick right at midfield. Over the top to Cavett. At least towards Cavett. Chip up to Yamada. And back over the sideline for a UC Davis throw-in.
Marley Cavett wearing the jersey number of her mother, Melissa, number 8.
It's also, you know, it's kind of the, if you want to say, the glory era of UP soccer, where, you know, some of the most wins happen. We're getting to the point where, you know, maybe some of those players have kids that could be popping up more and more, and if they still have that loyalty and want their kids to go to UP here, there could be some good recruits coming in.
There could be. I know many of them do. There's a lot of alums out there with players, and it's, I think,
Doctor still tracking with the ball on her right to Cavett. Cavett pops it right back in, and it's over the net.
I think for most of the women that I played with, or I think all of the women that I played with that have kids, you know, that they've played at this level, they've seen what it takes to be at this level, and really they just want their kids to be happy. You know, I have not come across any one of my former teammates or alums that are, you know, like pushing their kids or kind of overtly, you know, shoving them into something that maybe they're not enjoying. They just want their kids to be happy and be successful. They know that they happen to find their joy and success in college through college soccer. So if their kid likes doing something else, you know, Marley Cavett is a terrific runner, pursue that, you know, make sure that they're happy with that. You know, if they want like skiing or they like volleyball, things like that, I think just want their kids to be happy.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for. Togiai and Kate Howes sub in for Portland. Mavitt and Sawan out, tackle in the box, and a corner for the Pilots.
Miller, another great matchup against Picard, just trying to turn that corner. Picard, nice job coming through. Picard just keeps her going, gets a body on her, and just at the last second comes through, is able to tackle that ball over the end line. Creates another opportunity on the corner for Portland, but prevents Brooke Miller from getting in around the end line and cutting something back low and sharp.
Picard has stepped in so well in the back line in her freshman season at Archbishop Mitty High School in San Jose. Here's Togiai. A whistle and a foul against Portland. So the defense of Emma Vane and the Aggies hold strong again. Still down a goal with 23 to go.
It's a good short corner here. Plays it back, just doesn't quite get that ball where Yakel needs it to play it through and can't come through. Togiai committing the foul there. Giving the Aggies a chance to restart from the back.
UC Davis with another West Coast Conference matchup coming up on Sunday. Of course, they beat San Francisco on this past Sunday. So 3 West Coast Conference foes for the Aggies. They difficult schedule this year, really trying to challenge themselves to get ready for conference play. And the challenge this will be trying to equalize things with 22 to go. Yamada lobs forward. That's a nice ball there towards Simmons, but Norman hustles again, tracks it down, and plays it the other way to Doctor.
Well, I think this is actually the 3rd of a 4-game stretch against WCC opponents. I believe that they're going to play Loyola Marymount after this. So really good scheduling here from UC Davis, looking to just try to find these opportunities because, again, Portland plays in a tough conference. All of these teams play against each other. It's just another opportunity to find that magic RPI formula that's going to help you. If you're not going to win your conference, you know, similar to Portland last year, if you're not going to win your conference, can you get it in on the RPI, on the strength of schedule? So you just try to find all the different ways that you can give your team the best opportunity to advance to the postseason.
Yeah, you mentioned 4 games. Thank you for that. They played St. Mary's. Of course, St. Mary's off to a great start. Here's a chance. Brooke Miller, right-footed shot deflected. And a corner for the Pilots.
So dangerous there from Portland on just a really good counterattack from end-to-end soccer there. Brooke Miller comes in and just tags the shot low. UC Davis pretty fortunate that deflection, you know, good defending. As a goalkeeper, you want your players to get in front of block shots, but sometimes this is what happens. Picard comes around again. It wasn't Picard that went off, but players getting in front of blocking shots, sometimes those things happen, and it just can be so frustrating as a goalkeeper.
And that one just maybe a foot off. Slamming off the woodwork, and now a goal kick for the Aggies. Speaking of UC Davis' schedule, they also in the non-conference are playing at Nebraska, who Portland is familiar with playing with. Of course, a battle with them last year in Lincoln.
it's a very tough place to play. It's a very tough place to travel to. It's a really good test for your team in terms of trying to travel and flying. You know, not a lot of direct flights to Lincoln, Nebraska, or even Omaha, Nebraska from the West Coast. So it's a really good test for a team to go on the road and play there and try to be successful on that road trip.
Big Red Nation is serious. I'm sure a lot of people saw 92,000 people.
Unbelievable.
Just yesterday attended that volleyball match between the Cornhuskers and Omaha, the most attended women's sporting event ever.
I really was stunned at that figure, and I was like, man, I was at the Rose Bowl in 1999 for the Women's World Cup final between the U.S. and China. I'm like, how is that more than that? And I looked that up, and that was 90,000 people. I couldn't believe it. It was just so terrific and amazing to see, and I really think that women's sports in this country is starting to build some momentum and build some investors and hopefully go somewhere higher.
Right, and it was a Wednesday night, too. People had work the next day, but they all made it a point to come out and support Cornhuskers.
I mean, I'm not going to knock Nebraska, but I'm going to knock Nebraska. Like, what's happening in Lincoln, Nebraska on Wednesday nights?
That's a fair point. Hey, she said it.
You know.
Just in case Nebraska fans watch it.
Please come. don't come for me.
UC Davis starting to press the issue here, looking to make something happen with less than 19 to go.
I mean, I'm from Spokane, so, you know, we look at how well Gonzaga does in basketball. I say the same thing to my parents. I'm like, well, what else are you guys going to do?
Right. And that's part of the magic of college sports. Some of those towns are great college towns because maybe there's not as much action elsewhere.
And I think it's great. I think that having the support of your community and having, you know, people who are willing to show up and show out and support, you know, what's happening on these college campuses, especially in light of all of these just, to me, absolutely bananas conference realignments that we're seeing. You know, having the support of your local community to just come and continue to support and be a part of what you're doing, I think is a huge key to the success of smaller programs like UC Davis, like Portland.
Yeah, there's a lot that's out of fans' hands in terms of conference realignment and money, but what they can control is their consistent support and coming out to games.
Yeah.
Foul against UC Davis.
And UC Davis is obviously a big state school, but from an athletics perspective, from, you know, their women's soccer program, from things like that, you know, you want that support, you want that local support of the community come out and, you know, build up that base of people. You know, Portland did that so well in the 90s when Clive Charles built this stadium with the help of Harry Merlo and built, you know, really brought back the crowds to soccer that, you know, he had seen as a part of the NASL Timbers of the 70s.
Here's Matthijssen, the free kick. Drives it along the grass, just gets under the foot of Rademacher, but she turns and tracks it down. She's the one who scored the goal earlier off the corner. Plays it in with her left foot. Turner punches it back in. UC Davis looking to counter the other way. Simmons forward to Brannigan. Actually, that's Fregoso, harassed by a couple defenders, and a throw in for UC Davis. Sub for the Pilots, Aaliyah Doctor will check in. Out goes Frimpong Ellertson. And for UC Davis, Taylor Deaver coming back into the match, replacing Emma Vane.
Really good spell for Mackenzie Frimpong Ellertson, or Ellertson Frimpong Ellertson in there. You just see the depth of Portland. You know, she comes off the bench. Aaliyah Doctor comes on for her. Aaliyah Doctor was somebody that came off the bench into this lineup in the first half. So, you know, I think I mentioned it the first half, Michelle French really moving the lineup around, inserting players in some different positions, just seeing what depth she has at different positions and what people are capable of out there. To show what this is going to happen. They're going to come up on a couple tough road games, Oregon State and Seattle U on the road their next couple of matches before, again, another tough opponent in UC Irvine. So just trying to find some of these right combinations and get players the experience of minutes of playing together.
Togiai trying to track down that long ball. That's a big week for Portland. especially with the high expectations this year for the Pilots. Getting the at-large bid last year. Togiai forward to Norman on the near side. Katana Norman plays in the pass to the middle, touched and saved by Goldstein. What a ball, but Miller not able to finish.
Goldstein, just a quick sigh of relief. Miller was right there, just almost got it off her shoelace past Goldstein, but Goldstein, safe, secure hands, locks it down. Quick sigh of relief and tries to restart the attack for the Aggies.
It's another keeper Portland's played here at Marlowe Field that's doing a nice job. Challenged a few times today. Ball forward, but Katana Norman steps in front. Looking for the through ball up to Simmons. Less than 15 to go here in regulation. Brooke Miller powering through. Ball still in play. Miller now in the 18. Waits. Jutting to her right. Play to Togiai. Miss-hit. Loose ball cleared away.
And that's the rare time I've seen Togiai actually take a touch in a pretty good shooting window in the penalty area. Normally we see her look and do that first time, but as that ball comes to her, I think it's maybe just a little bouncy, a little slippy off the grass, and she puts her head down trying to control it off that touch, and I think she had it was there for her for a first-time opportunity.
Looking for a shot here. Togiai saved right to Goldstein.
And here's Togiai just now lacing it through for Norman, and this was just a few minutes ago. Norman right there, you just see Brooke Miller heavily covered by Mayo though, and then Miller coming in just trying to lay it off.
Uh-oh, loose ball. Bree Norris comes out to track it down. It was Fregoso who did a nice job of creating a chance there for UC Davis.
I was watching the screen, watching the field, watching the screen as we were talking through the replay, watching the field, just making sure we weren't going to miss anything.
Well, we'll see if UC Davis can ramp it up here and make something happen. Portland is now out shooting the Aggies 8-7, 6-1 though in terms of shots on goal favoring Portland. Pilots also with 7 corners to 0 for UC Davis. Nice ball forward. This is Devin Simmons. Now in the attacking third. Sliding effort by Norman and a corner for UC Davis. How many times have we seen that today from Norman?
Just, again, great work from Portland, but UC Davis really turning it on now. As we see Simmons just try to turn the corner, and Norman seemingly comes out of nowhere, but she had lined that up and just, she was a little bit behind Simmons as she was running through that and knew that she had to come slide down and through it and makes the safe play. Goes over the end line.
Wong in, House out for Portland. Lindsay Porter, the captain, the senior, to play in the corner as they bring in Sam Tristan, their top goal scorer so far this season. Out goes Simmons. Porter sends it in. Back to Deaver. Her shot is wide.
And as I was saying, at that opportunity, UC Davis really stepping it up now, starting to put a more energy into their attack, a little bit more zip into their passes and their runs forward. So Portland has to find a way to manage that, absorb that, and then reflect it or redirect it back into their attacking efforts.
Emma Vane subs in, replacing Ashley Garcia. And the rain starting to pick up again. About a 20-minute stretch in that first half where it was really coming down. We're fairly dry throughout this second half until now. Well, we're dry. We're in the booth, though.
It's lovely up here.
Yeah, we're chilling.
It's a picnic.
Portland looking for a little cushion here. Up a goal. Miller trying to step through.
And we do, just for temperature's sake, like we have the windows open in the press box. You and I are wearing short sleeves. It's not cold. It's not really bothersome. The temperature right now, just the rain can be annoying if you're not used to it.
Yeah, it was about 65 degrees at first touch, and it's 62 now. So Shouldn't affect the players too much other than how slick the ball is as that shot goes sailing up and into the netting of the Nets. 10:27 and counting. Kayla Adams waiting to sub in for Portland at next opportunity.
Not sure why she didn't get the chance there from Michelle French. Also wondering why, but talking to the fourth official, some issue there with perhaps the substitution card.
A whistle and a foul against UC Davis to the chagrin of Sam Tristan and the Aggies fan here that made the trip. Solid contingency of them that made the trip from, well, not necessarily from Davis. The team made the trip from Davis, which is just west of Sacramento.
A lot of players in and around from the Bay Area, though. We're going through the roster before the game and looking at how many players are just from the quote-unquote the Bay Area as a huge metropolitan area. There's quite a bit from down there.
We've got one Oregonian on the roster in Devin Simmons. Outside of that, almost all players from California. There's a lot of talent in that state on the pitch. Just Keely Doctor. Fires in the cross, in the air, headed back. And a player down and shaken up for UC Davis. That was a big collision on that play.
Big collision, and the referee will stop the game before Portland can play it out of bounds. Not sure if it was head-to-head or head-to-shoulder, but definitely that looks like Picard, 15.
And she put it all on the line. She dove to clear that ball away. A terrific play. Unfortunately, shook her up a little bit.
Tremendous ball in there from Doctor. And Picard waving their athletic trainer away. No, I'm fine, I'm fine. If it was head-to-head contact, though, that's where you might want to insist on just taking another look. Great ball in here from Dr. Picard. Just gets up and doesn't look like she got head-to-head with Wong, but did have a bit of a impact as she went shoulder to shoulder with Wong and then landed a bit hard. So no head-to-head there, but looks like she'll be fine and wants to continue.
Hopefully just the wind knocked out of her, but either way, certainly a lot of contact there. 9:03 on the clock. UC Davis looking for a desperation equalizer down the stretch here.
Drop ball for Portland. That ball was, they were heavily in possession of the ball. Comfortable possession, I should say. So they'll get the ball on the drop ball.
Kayla Adams does sub in now for the Pilots. She will replace Rademacher, who's given Portland some terrific minutes here today.
Looks like they'll drop Brooke Miller into the back line now. Portland probably going into a 4-back to be a bit more protective of this lead in the last 8 minutes, and could use the speed of Brooke Miller on the wing, especially as the Aggies bring in Simmons to run the wing. So Portland going back into a 4-4-2.
UC Davis looking to push, coming out of the pack with it. Mayo tries to play it forward, but dispossessed. And a nice move now by Doctor, racing the other way.
Savvy move from Doctor. Just such great game intelligence to read that and pull that off.
Now on the far side, the freshly subbed in Kayla Adams towards the goal line. Slide tackle sends it over. Another corner for the Pilots. It's number 8 of the match.
Doctor is so good at that, of just reading the space around her, and you see here she just takes a little stab step to let the ball drag or just roll on by her, and that little stab step gets her defender to commit, and she's off running behind their shoulder, running right by him.
Head coach Michelle French said that she's looking for Keely Doctor to do some more scoring this year. She said that the coaching staff's been encouraging her to take some more shots. You can see her offensive ability. It's just growing more and more as her career develops. Here's the corner. In the air, knocked back. Now pops straight towards the back of the box, headed down by Dr. Goldstein, able to corral it.
Goldstein got her fist to that ball coming through and just knocks it down. But you see she's in a crowd of people, didn't quite get the drive on it that she wanted to, because that drops straight down. As a goalkeeper, you want that to go high and wide away from any danger, but Goldstein just doing whatever she can to prevent it from going onto a Portland head.
Here's Fregoso with some space. Nice feed up ahead to Brannigan. Now back out wide. Played back towards the box. Trying to get it to Tristan, but Matthijs is there. Now to Picard. She lobs it in. Another UC Davis player down and shaken up.
I watched that play happen off the ball. Eliana Wong was tracking that player into the penalty area. And the player just ran, I think just blindsided, ran into Wong, wasn't maybe paying attention, and then, you know, went to the turf as a result.
It was Canavan who was down and shaken up. And she's up now, just a slight limp. Here's Tristan on the far side. Sam Tristan looking for the cross. Over the goal line, and a corner opportunity for the Aggies now.
These are the big moments that Michelle French talks about. You know, you've got, you know, about 5 minutes left of the game. You're protecting a 1-0 lead. This is where you have to, when you're tired, it's the 86th minute of the game. You have to take care of the little details. You have to make sure, you know, your marking is spot on, that you're taking care of, you're tracking your runner, that you're making sure that nothing hits the ground without being contested.
It's Lindsay Porter, the captain, to play in the corner. Left-footed pass, high in the air, headed back by Miller. Payne.
Porter with a good ball in, just no Aggies in and around the penalty area. She plays a really nice ball in, but all of the Aggie players, for the most part, were in and around the top of the goal box. Nobody running in from the top of the penalty box.
So maybe a missed opportunity by the Aggies on their second corner attempt. Still down a goal, less than 5 minutes remaining here on the Bluff. As the rain continues to pick up. This pass back to Tristan. Forward to Simmons. Simmons passes again. Oh, it's just over the outstretched leg of Fregoso.
And right now the Aggies playing with about 4 to 5 players leading their line. They are really pushing Portland to get back and defend, and are going to struggle not to be offside here a little bit. But what a great move there from Simmons. Just cuts back and just can't quite connect there with Fregoso. Fregoso does everything she can just to try to get a piece of it and knock it down or redirect it towards Norris. Just can't quite make it happen.
That's exactly who you want on the receiving end if you're UC Davis. Fregoso, 18 career goals, 7th in school history. Just couldn't get to that one.
It's a handball in the middle of the field. That ball bounces up off of the first touch, I think, into the arm of Leslie Fregoso. So UC Davis a bit upset with the call, but not. I think that's a fair call. We've seen that go against Portland a couple times also this game.
3.5 remaining now. The hustle by Brannigan, trying to get to it. Knocked over the sideline.
Substitution for Pilots, number 14,
Nadia Sawan subs back in for the final 3 minutes, replacing Togiai. In for UC Davis, Kylie Garcia. She will replace Taylor Deaver. Canavan able to keep possession. And a lot of Portland defenders around her. Down in the corner. Played into the box, but headed away. Now lobbed back in by Brannigan towards Fregoso. Header, oh, just wide.
Got to feel like that was the chance there for UC Davis. Just couldn't quite get it down on frame where she wanted, but UC Davis very dangerous in these final 5 minutes.
It was Fregoso again with a chance.
Just lobs it up there, and Fregoso just gets over. Katana Norman playing it very safe. If she tries to come up over the top there, she's risking kind of going into Fregoso's back and risking a penalty. So Katana Norman plays it safe, knowing that it's going to be pretty difficult at that angle running through for Fregoso to head it down. Dangerous for Norris.
Under 2 to go, and another corner for UC Davis. 2 out of the 3 corners they've had in this match have come in the last 4 minutes. They will bring Goldstein forward. Having her wait here for a moment. Played in the middle of the box. Headed back, right-footed shot, sails over the net from Devin Simmons.
Another good ball in to the area on a cross from UC Davis, but so many Portland jerseys up and around that. No Aggie player can really get through and make a good, clean connection on it. Devin Simmons does the best she can, but too many players in front of her to keep it low.
Portland trying to hang on with just over a minute to go. And what's been a terrific non-conference clash between these two programs on the rise.
Kayla Adams does such a nice job there, winning the ball there, keeping it, and then trying to turn the corner and getting fouled. It's going to be a free kick here for Portland. Kayla Adams fouled and as she went down. Looks like she's holding her shoulder there. She went down pretty hard. And we'll see Portland athletic trainer Miho Arai making her way to Kayla Adams there, just jogging into frame.
Arai making the long run all the way over to the far sideline.
It's a long run if you're not used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, not used to it. I played on this field, and that was a long run for me. I'm not making that run across the field. It's like, I'm a goalkeeper. You want me to do this fitness? This is crazy.
I'll stay here. UC Davis with 59 seconds here, but even with a loss, there's still 3-2 through the first 5 matches, with a 1-0 loss last Thursday against St. Mary's. And what could be a 1-0 loss here. And coming into this game, UC Davis number 7 in the USCA West Region top 10. Portland at number 10. Still very early, but a good win for the Pilots to beat a top 10 regional team.
Yeah, if this result holds, it's a great result for Portland, to just coming off that Washington State where they were so convincingly outplayed the Cougars and didn't get the result that they needed or they wanted, and coming now back against a very tough UC Davis team that's been on a great run of games, has had a boatload of confidence, have scored a ton of goals, allowed very few, and have managed the game so well and so effectively, and have found a way to put one in against a very good team.
Yeah, you talked about it earlier, the importance of the RPI come the end of the year. The RPI played so well in Portland's favor last season, getting them that at-large bid, getting them a home NCAA tournament game against Arizona State too. And this match here should help Portland State long-term, as UC Davis certainly going to rack up some wins this year in Big West play. Same can be said for the Aggies in terms of their RPI, as they also play Loyola Marymount in Nebraska their next couple matches.
Again, when I was preparing for this match, you and I talked about it before this game, just reading about UC Davis and knowing their history and watching a little bit of what they've been doing so far, that they were picked to finish 5th in the Big West is still stunning to me. This is a very good team, and I think that they're going to surprise a lot of teams this year.
Even with this result, UC Davis outscoring opponents 11-3 early on this season.
And this game not over. UC Davis now throwing everybody up the pitch.
Yep.
1 player taking the free kick. There's 9 players forward of the ball right now, 8 players forward of the ball. So UC Davis through and doing everything they can right now just to try to find an opportunity to steal a result here.
Down to 20 seconds. A nice touch by Picard. Another throw in for UC Davis. Go down to Tristan. Cleared away by the Pilots again, down to 5 seconds.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And the seconds tick off the clock. Portland hangs on. The Pilots get back on track. A 1-0 quality victory over UC Davis. A very competitive back and forth match. Portland able to finish and get that goal they needed, and it came from Violet Rademacher for the first time in her career.
What a tremendous opportunity for her to step up. Again, we've talked about what she had to get a huge hug from goalkeeper Abby Presnell right now, and everybody just so happy for this. I think what Coach French is going to be the most happy about is that Portland found a way to win. They found a way to score, and they did it while keeping a shutout. And to be that organized defensively and keep such a very good, disciplined offense in the Aggies off the board that has been scoring a ton of goals so far this season. I think that that's probably what she's going to give them the most credit for is finding a way to win while keeping a shutout.
So a shutout for the Pilots, second of the season for Bree Norris and company, as Norris only had to come up with one save in this match. A team clean sheet for the Pilots against a prolific offensive team in UC Davis. Coming up next for the Aggies, they'll be back in action on Sunday. They'll be at home hosting Loyola Marymount. For Portland, Oregon State on Sunday should be a competitive matchup there, playing at the Beavers. And it's always a challenge playing a Pac-12 school. That'll be a fun one.
It's going to be a good game. I think this is an Oregon State team that is also on the rise. They've had a couple of coaching changes since Nina's dad, Linus, was there, and I think that this is a program that's going to give them a very, very tough game on Sunday, and it's great to go on the road. Always a tough place to play in Corvallis.
And you see the rest of the schedule for the Pilots looking forward at Seattle U, hosting UC Irvine, which I have for you here at Merlo Field on ESPN Plus, making a cool trip to the East Coast, playing at Stonehill and at Brown.
Yeah, very, very rare trip to New England, to up into that area of the country. Doesn't happen often, and so it's great to see them again. We talked about the Aggie team going to Nebraska, a very tough place to travel to, get to, and play, and that'll be the same trip for Portland, going to Brown and Stonehill.
A heck of a match against two of the best in the West region. Portland, the victors. They get another win at home here at Merlo Field. 1-0, the final score. Thanks for joining us here from the Bluff for our entire crew at the University of Portland, our director Ray Bradley and producer Riley Clark. For my broadcast partner Angela Harrison, I'm Chris Clayton. Portland beats UC Davis 1-0 on ESPN Plus.